What's good, everyone? It is week 11 of the college football season, and thank you for stopping by to visit this channel for this weekly review. If you want to hear a different take of college football from an analytical perspective, if you haven't done so already, pound that subscribe button, click the notification bell, and select all so you won't miss another video. Also, like the video, share the video, it helps the channel grow, and give me your score predictions in the comment section below, even if you agree or disagree with my score predictions. In this video, we start off with the Purdue team playing the role of spoiler against Ohio State in the shoe. Purdue is coming off a huge upset over Michigan State last week, and Ohio State fended off a feisty Nebraska team. As we do in every video, we start with the tail of the tape of advanced metrics. Well, as we review the tail of the tape, you can tell Ohio State is favored in every metric according to Bill Connolly's SP Plus rating, and because of that, SP Plus gives the Buckeyes a 92% win probability, while Vegas currently has the Buckeyes as a 20.5 point favorite at the time of recording. Now, it wasn't pretty, but if you're able to get a W in the month of November, you'll take it any way you can get it, especially if it was on the road. The offense didn't have Garrett Wilson, but when you have the best wide receiver room in the country, you're still expected to produce. Jackson Smith-Njigba did his best Terry Glenn impersonation with 15 catches on 17 targets for 240 yards. Now, the offense put up 495 yards of offense, but when it was time to close the drive with a touchdown, Nebraska's defense kept them out of the end zone. It is the second week in a row where the Ohio State offense were stalling inside of the 40-yard line, as they had 6 scoring chances and they averaged 3.12 points per scoring opportunity. Now, recapping Purdue, I hope they have your attention now, because for the second time this season, they beat a top 3 team by double digits. They didn't need a lucky bounce or a last-second field goal to get it done. They beat Michigan State straight up. No flukes were needed. Purdue didn't try to run because they couldn't run against Michigan State. Instead, they torched the Spartans through the air to the tune of 536 yards with a 57% success rate. That is hyper efficient. David Bell was the recipient of those throws as he had 217 receiving yards, and Bell has been outstanding this year. He's like a cheat code in Jeff Brom's system. So after a certain number of weeks, I have just enough data to generate opponent-adjusted stats. And in college football, we tend to view teams, how they play based off of the raw numbers, but the problem with using raw numbers, they leave out a lot of context. For example, quote-unquote, they ain't play nobody. So what these opponent-adjusted stats do is they give us the context, and how I do this is based off of offense versus defense. So when Ohio State has the ball, they're going to find some resistance against the Boilermaker defense. Purdue is a top 10 defense based on defensive success rate, and their main focus is to try to take the running game away from you and force you into obvious passing situations. When Purdue plays their assignment, they are exceptional. However, when they are out of alignment, they can give up chunk plays, as Ohio State has a clear advantage in that department. Underestimate the Purdue defense at your own peril, but if you do, be prepared to be in a fist fight. When Purdue has the ball, there are some advantages they have against the Ohio State defense, but the Buckeye defense holds a significant advantage in this department. For Purdue, my only advice is to take the playbook, hold it up in the air, find all the running plays, rip them out of your playbook, and burn them for Saturday's game. It is going to be a chore trying to run against Ohio State's defensive line. The Buckeye front is legit, and trying to run at them is not a smart move, especially if you're having issues running the football like you had all season. However, the Purdue passing game can have success against Ohio State secondary, especially their safeties. Jeff Brom is really good at finding mismatches, and he is a crafty play caller. Alright, so if you're familiar with the channel, I used to run a computer model, and now I've moved away from that. So Purdue fans, you're new to the channel, so I'm just giving you guys a little backstory. So now I've created a rating system that is based on the principles of ELO, but the way it's working is that it's structured by the point differential of the average college football team. So after each game, the winning team takes points from the losing team. The ratings difference between the winner and loser determines the total number of points gained or lost. So the high-rated team wins, they receive a fraction of the points from the low-rated team. But if the low-rated team wins in an upset, then they'll get a huge rating boost relative to their rating. So the bigger the upset, the bigger the ratings boost. And as to what goes on into that rating system, It's a few parts of a weighted recruiting average, some parts returning production, and recent ranking history. So these ratings are different from the tail of the tape, where I use SP Plus as an example, as a baseline. For this game, the model really favors Ohio State to win and to cover. It's giving the Buckeyes a 93% win probability, and it is projecting a 41-16 score. So Purdue is coming into this game as a heavy underdog after dispatching Michigan State at home. Vegas believes Purdue and Penn State are similar to each other, with the spread being where it is. The Penn State spread was at 18.5 at the time, and this game is currently sitting at 20. I don't think Vegas is wrong in believing Purdue and Penn State are similar. Both teams have advantages throwing the ball, but if there is a clear edge Purdue has over Penn State, it is their defense. The avenue for Purdue to pull off the upset is to utilize the Penn State / Oregon / Nebraska game plan on the defensive side. And that is Ohio State. Just let them get their yards, but when they get inside the 40 for a scoring chance, force Ohio State to take field goals instead of touchdowns. And when Ohio State goes for it on fourth down, make sure they don't convert. In the last 2 weeks against Penn State and Nebraska, Ohio State had 13 scoring chances, but they came away with a total of 45 points. That is 3.46 points per scoring chance. And that is good for 12th in the Big Ten. Now, playing Penn State and Nebraska, who were ranked 2nd and 17th in the country in scoring opportunity defense, that may have had something to do with that. It's not going to get easier for the Buckeyes since Purdue is ranked 18th in that metric. I firmly believe if Purdue came into this game after a loss to Michigan State, Ohio State wouldn't have taken this game as serious. But Purdue beating Michigan State got their full attention. They'll be locked in for this game. So I'm going to take the Buckeyes in this one, 42-20. At the end of the day, my concern with Purdue is their inability to be able to run the football. They don't have a lot of balance on offense. I think the defense will keep them in it, but Ohio State eventually, they're going to start punching it in the end zone. You definitely don't want to play another quality defense and just continuously not be able to score. So that's it for that game. Now on to the next one. We're in Oxford, Mississippi for a pivotal SEC West matchup between Texas A&M and Ole Miss. Both teams have 2 conference losses in conference play, and the winner of this game could position themselves for a spot in the SEC championship game against Georgia if certain dominoes fall in their favor. So let's take a look at the tail of the tape. The advanced numbers favor Texas A&M, but there are a lot of pushes, mainly in the F+ column and when Ole Miss has the ball against the A&M defense. This is a top 5 matchup between the Rebel offense and the Aggie defense, but the Aggie offense holds a significant advantage against the Ole Miss defense. SP Plus gives the Aggies a 60% win probability, and the Vegas line favors the Aggies as a slight road favorite at 2.5. This game was billed as a quarterback matchup between Malik Willis and Matt Corral. The game went to Corral, but there were 2 things that stood out. One, the Ole Miss offense stalled in the second half, and I didn't think they finished the game in the same manner in which they finished the first half against Liberty. Part of that was due to the injuries around the offense. The second thing, the Ole Miss defense looked like the Landshark defense of the previous years. They got after Malik Willis to the tune of 9 sacks, and Willis was seeing ghosts on the field. Now, if offense was your thing, then the Texas A&M Auburn game was not it for you. For about a good 3 quarters, there were some shades of Alabama LSU in 2011, with both teams taking nothing but field goals, but there was some spectacular defense being played. Fun fact, if you didn't watch this game, there was not a touchdown scored by the offense or special teams. It was a scoop and score by the A&M defense. So if defense was your cup of tea, then you had plenty of it to drink. That Texas A&M defense is very impressive. So, the matchup of the day, the Rebel offense versus the Aggie defense. This matchup looks to be a push, as neither side is able to get clear separation from each other. Now, there are some stress points for either side one will have over the other. Texas A&M is an aggressive defense, as they are excellent in generating stops behind the line of scrimmage, and their passing defense is a top 5 unit. For Ole Miss, they're excellent at generating explosive plays, and the Rebel offense is solid on obvious passing situations. The chess match between Jeff Lebby and Mike Elko will be a fun one to watch. When A&M has the ball, it is a different story, as the Aggies hold a clear advantage over the Rebel defense. The Aggies are solid at staying ahead of schedule, as they are ranked 53rd in success rate, so it is safe to say they will lean on the ground game with Isaiah Spiller and Devon Achane. Now, if you're Ole Miss, you want to get after Zach Calzada with your pass rush, as it is ranked 15th in defensive sack rate, and generate negative plays to get the Aggies behind the chains. The model has Ole Miss winning by the score of 31-25 with a 65% win probability. So definitely going against the Vegas spread of A&M as a favorite. My rating system has both the Rebel offense and the Aggie defense as top 10 units. It is harder on the A&M offense based on their showings early in the season, which is why their offensive rating is much lower than anticipated. So the matchup between the Ole Miss offense and the A&M defense is going to play a role in deciding the outcome of the game. But the matchup that I'm looking forward to seeing is the A&M offense versus the maligned Ole Miss defense. As I pointed out, the Aggies hold an advantage over the Rebel defense. But if Ole Miss can generate some negative plays against Texas A&M, this could be a problem for the Aggies since they like to stay ahead of schedule. In this game, for me, give me Texas A&M to the score of 28-24. I'm going against the model in this game, and I'm also going against a home team in a one possession spread. So living on the wild side a little bit. I know A&M is the favorite, but this year the home team has played extremely well in these low spread scenarios. The model is also hitting at about 70% straight up as well. So yeah, definitely going out on a limb, even though A&M is a favorite. So, but model's been hitting pretty good. So I'm going to go with the Aggies are playing well as of late, and I think they end up getting this one done. This game has piqued my interest. Georgia versus Tennessee at Neyland Stadium. It's interesting not because Tennessee is unranked, but the style of play is different for both squads. Just like they say in boxing, styles make fights. Tennessee likes to get up and down the field, and Georgia relies more on efficiency rather than explosiveness. Taking a peek at the advanced numbers, they love Georgia, especially to win this game. Georgia is rated number 1 in F+, FEI, SP+, and defensive SP+. Bill Connolly's SP+ rating has the Bulldogs winning with an 81% win probability on the road, and the Vegas line was sitting at 20 in some markets in favor of Georgia. This Tennessee win over Kentucky defied a lot of football logic. If you're of the belief that time of possession is an important stat in football, Tennessee proved you wrong. They held the football for 13 minutes and 52 seconds. Kentucky had the ball for the remaining 46 minutes and 8 seconds. Typically, when you see a discrepancy like that, the team who held the ball the longest ends up winning the game comfortably. Tennessee allowed 612 yards of offense. 225 of those were on the ground. But I guess it doesn't matter when you hit explosive plays at the rate they did. It's mind-boggling, isn't it? And if you watch Blades of Glory, you understood that reference. Missouri put up some fight in the first quarter, as you can tell, but it was the equivalent of throwing a grape at someone. It doesn't do anything. You look at the person that threw the grape at you and you ask, so you're going to follow up to that? Was that it? Oh, that was it? Okay, cool. Tell you what I have. I have this club, and I'd like to welcome you to it. That is what Georgia did to Missouri over the last 3 quarters. They bashed their brains in. Missouri sold out to stop the run, and that part worked, but Georgia bombed them through the air. It was easy work. Almost half the game was in garbage time. When Tennessee has the ball, the advanced metrics still favor Georgia by a wide margin. Tennessee wants to play with a lot of tempo, and they want to take vertical shots downfield. They're going to have a problem if they can't protect Herndon Hooker with their offensive sack rate at 126 in the country versus Georgia's 5th defensive sack rate. This is a unique offense Georgia has seen. There are receivers close to the sideline, so it gives the quarterback an easy way to count numbers in the box, due to the fact that the outside backers declare what they are going to do when you see those wide splits. When Georgia has the ball, again, it's another matchup that favors the Bulldogs when they got it. The Tennessee defense is not particularly excellent at everything, but the one stat they are solid at is limiting explosive plays. They'll give you everything underneath, and they'll allow you to dink and dunk right down the field. And Georgia relies on efficiency, and they're probably going to oblige them considering they don't make many mistakes at all on offense. So the model in this game has Georgia winning by the score of 38-17 with an 89% win probability. So it likes Georgia to not just win the game, but to cover the spread on the road. For Tennessee to have success in this game, they have to turn this into a track meet. It's a high risk, high reward type of play, but that's who they are. And I don't expect them to play keep away from Georgia. At the end of the day, the up-tempo spread fits their personnel, so it doesn't make sense to make a philosophical change for this game. Tennessee needs to be careful because this game can get ugly quick, similar to the Florida game where it was 3-0 and 2 minutes later it turns into 24-0. Georgia knows they have to score more in this game to keep the pressure on Tennessee because from what I've seen from Tennessee this year, they compete to the last whistle. My biggest concern is their defense was on the field for 99 plays last week against a physical Kentucky team. If Georgia's offense is on the field for 99 plays, they're going to score close to 50. There's too much depth on Georgia's side. I got Georgia winning by the score of 49-20. Not an indictment on Georgia's defense if Tennessee scores that much. I think due to the tempo they play at, that allows them to get more possessions. So they're going to throw caution to the wind, take chances, and they're going to hope they're going to get lucky. And that is it for this week, all 3 games. Let me know what your thoughts are on each game in the comment section below. Give me your score prediction or predictions and tell me why your respective team is going to win the game. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give the video a like, and if you love college football as much as I do, hit the subscribe button if you want to stay updated with the latest previews and the occasional highlights. And as always, thank you for watching, and thanks for taking the time to visit the channel.